All right, everyone, in this video, we are actually going to be looking at a 5-5 plus pro level match. And this is right at our academy. We have Grayson and Nick at the top of the screen. And then we have Armand and Elliot here on the bottom. We're going to be looking at what makes them really high level players. We're going to dive deep into their decision making, slow it down. And if you would actually like your footage, your match footage broken down personally by me, go ahead and check out the link below or join our online coaching community where you can get direct coaching from me and my team. Now let's jump in. All right, we got Grayson to serve up top. Two lefty and righty teams battling it out right here. Good pressure. And first point of the match. Miss speed up down the line and good net capture here. So the very first thing that we see good players do is they hit really good returns and they get up to the non-volley zone line. So as we go back here, Grayson has a pretty good deep serve. Elliot has a good 2E return and he follows it in, right? Elliot is now going up towards the non-volley zone line, and around the time of contact when Grayson is hitting this ball, you will see Elliot very, very close, if not up to that non-volley zone line, and that is what makes these players really good. They can get up there, apply a lot of pressure. Here you see Grayson hitting a third shot drop from his forehand side, and this is a picture perfect drop. A lot of you may think or have been taught that your third shot drops have to land short into the kitchen. At this level, pro level, that just goes to show you that your drops don't have to land short. As I go back here, you will see Grayson's drop here. It's falling down towards that non-volley zone line, and it's actually making Armand back up, take a step back. So once you see your opponent take a step back, you know that you've hit something fairly good, and you see Grayson coming in, and you'll see really good players like Armand trying to keep it at Grayson's feet. So you can see Grayson stops, and now he has to actually come back off the line. He has really good footwork, super balanced, and he resets towards the middle. I want to go back to the drop and the fourth shot here by Armand, because he hits a really great shot here towards the feet of Grayson here. And as this ball is coming towards him, you can see Grayson split steps, right? He is on balance again, and he uses that shuffle step that we talk about in a lot of our videos so that he can get balance in behind the ball. When any pro or very, very high level is in this kind of position, Grayson in this example, you will see them always hit soft towards the middle. We see his partner, Nick, he's looking and watching Grayson hit the ball. And also we see Elliot and Armand right up at the line, and they're going to try to lean in because they're going to try to find something out of the air. But any pro, any very, very high level player, you will see Grayson here hit the ball nice and soft into the kitchen. As this ball is traveling, look at the paddle position of Elliot and Armand. They're actually reaching in over the kitchen, and this is something that you will see time and time again when you are playing against really good players that know when you're in a defensive position, you're trying to lean in and find something. Elliot then knows, or he recognizes, that it's actually a very perfect reset, and he has to actually adjust his positioning to hit another dink. Okay, so let's see a couple dinks here. Good cross court roll there, and then a little miss up the line. So I want to go back to this shot by Grayson here. He resets middle, and Elliot kind of gives him a ball out wide. You will see Grayson here really get behind the ball, and he has this two-handed dink. The other quality of high-level players, especially 5-0 plus, is they have good roll dinks cross court, and they can put it on a dime on that corner target, right? This really forces Elliot to be in a very tough position. So there's a middle dink by Elliot, and then a little just out on that speed up. But again, when it comes to high-level play, hitting quality targets, getting up to the non-volley zone line, which we just talked about, and being really disciplined when you're in a pressed or defensive position, resetting middle. Those are all high quality traits of high level players. Okay, we're gonna watch this point here. Great roll there by Arman. Okay, just a little bit high. Okay, so I want to go back here, and we're gonna see Arman's return here. Now, Arman hits a little bit of a short return. I know that he probably wasn't planning to. A little bit of a miss hit maybe. And you can see Grayson here really having to stretch for this ball. So another good quality of players, what we just talked about, resetting middle when you're in a defensive position, but when also you're in a defensive position like this, reaching or stretching forward, you will always see good players hit the ball very, very soft, right? They're trying to hit it soft and a little bit higher to buy time. So Grayson hits that ball really soft. It's a little bit high, but you will see Grayson, he's a little bit out of frame here, but you can see his feet. He has split stepped, right? He's getting ready for that reset. Arman in this example is taking time away. He's early reaching over the kitchen line. And because Grayson just did a great job of setting his feet early, you can see him hit this reset volley. So 5-0 plus players, they know exactly when to hit that reset volley when they are in transition and they're on defense. That is the ball that is going to allow them to come forward. So as Grayson comes forward, you'll see his partner Nick actually kind of hold his ground or take a tiny step back. Why do we see that? Well, everyone at this level is trying to make the best read that they can. As Grayson hits this pretty good reset, it bounces in the kitchen, but Nick sees something a little bit different. He sees Arman setting up for a very, very hard attack. So Grayson is getting ready for a counter. He's probably going to counter it because he's a lot closer to the line. In this situation, Nick kind of stays back because he thinks Arman is probably going to attack him, and maybe Nick wants to reset one more time and get in. So let's just see again what happens here. Arman actually goes right to the feet of Nick, and Nick actually makes a pretty good decision because he stays and he finally gets one ball to drop. So Nick stayed back and he chose to stay back on that first one, but you will see actually as Arman is hitting this ball, Nick that doesn't come all the way to the line at this time, and he kind of is having a little bit of his feet exposed here. So even though he hits a pretty good dink here on the next one, you can see that Arman is taking control with those roll dinks, and because Nick isn't all the way up at the line, Arman is taking advantage of this. So this is another thing that you'll see good players do. They take advantage of players' positioning if they are off the line, like Nick is right here. So Nick actually ends up popping it up a little bit, which even high-level players do. But again, being on defense, transitioning it from defense to neutral, and then trying to get back into an offensive position is key. Arman finds the feet of Nick here, and I think Nick really couldn't get in here because Arman was just really, really good offensively here, and he knows Arman has really good speed ups, so he kind of hung back, but it kind of bit him at the end there. So really good offense by Arman. Let's see Elliot to serve here. Got Nick with the return. Third shot drop. Okay. So another thing that makes these players very, very good is their soft game, not only in the kitchen with dinks, but their soft game in drops too. Arman has one of the most powerful drives that I've seen. And again, when it comes to preparing for the third, we always have to prepare for the drive first. But Arman doesn't do that in this case. He hits a roller drop here that's headed to Nick, and Nick is actually kind of coming in, and this is a lot of pressure that is putting on Nick here, and he makes a little bit of an error there, but you can watch that and say, oh, Nick just missed it. But what a lot of players don't see is the amount of pressure that Elliot is putting on Nick as he is leaning back a little bit, and Arman is also crashing here on this ball. So there's a ton of pressure at 5-0, 5-5 plus pro levels when it comes to just applying pressure when your opponent has their ball at the feet. Great drop there by Elliott. Okay. So here we have a serve by Elliott. Two-handed drop here. Hit by Elliott with topspin. Okay. So 5-0, 5-5 players, they have two-handed drops typically on the backhand side to add more topspin at times, and they can roll it on the forehand as well. But what does this topspin do? It pushes the ball towards your opponent and it pushes them back in this scenario there. So again, Arman is leaning in. They get a little bit lucky on the net cord, but that all got set up by this topspin drop, okay? Because Elliott here is brushing up on the ball, this ball is going to bounce and it's actually going to kick towards Grayson, right? So he has to do a good job of creating a lot of space here, and he does. But again, his weight is moving back a little bit, and at this level, anything even a little bit high, your opponents are going to be seeking and leaning in every single chance that they get. So Arman sees it here. He's coming across and he makes a great read. And, you know, this does hit the net, kind of catches Grayson in an awkward spot. But either way, that was a great take by Arman. Okay. Got Elliott to serve here. Third shot drop. Good neutralizing dink by Nick, and good ATP. Another thing that these pro level players do very well is they have great awareness of not only where the ball's bouncing and how much spacing that they need, but also how wide the ball is going. He knows that this ball is moving out away from the court, and they are very, very patient, right? He's waiting and waiting until that ball gets close to the ground. He has that two-hander. You see Elliott trying to defend this ball, but it was just a little too good. So these players have great awareness of not only where the ball's bouncing, but where they need to be and where they need to move to get into great position to hit the ball. Okay. Let's now talk about fourth shot offense. As I play this clip again, learning to lean in, learning to take time away, and just applying pressure while your opponents are transitioning in is a high level quality thing that high level players do, and something that is so necessary to put pressure on your opponents. So as Elliott here goes for this drop here, goes for this nice soft shot, it's just a little bit high. But one of the things that really good players do is they recognize as soon as their opponents are hitting soft. So I want you to see this even in this position. Nick here at the line, they have unwinded the stack and he's coming over to help cover line. But in this position, he's prepared for a drive up into this point. But as soon as he sees Elliott here kind of in this drop technique, drop motion, he's going to be not only leaning in, but he's going to be looking and seeking to take time away. So you'll see here, the ball goes a little bit high. Nick gets in this really wide stance. And now as Elliott and Arman are actually trying to come forward, he's trying to take time away. So he's leaning in, trying to catch that ball contact point over the kitchen line so they have less time to react. He actually hits Arman in a really, really good spot, nice and low. These players are really good at keeping the ball low, not only taking time away, but doing something with it. So in this instance here, Nick has kind of a lot of options here, right? He could go right at Elliott, maybe to Elliott's backhand up the line. Maybe he can go angle and kind of hit it towards Arman's backhand, or he could hit it low in the middle, and he chooses that low in the middle shot here. And as long as you can make your opponent reach, especially from a low position here, that puts a ton of pressure, especially when they're coming through that transition zone. Okay, now we have Nick to serve here. Good quality return there by Elliott. Again, fourth shot pressure. Great rally. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about that these pro players do time and time again that oftentimes gets unnoticed is the quality of their serves and returns. Now, serving and returning, obviously, yeah, very simple, basic strategies, serve it deep and return deep. But when you really look at how much pressure that they're putting on the serve here, trying to keep them back, and when we look at the quality of these returns, when we're looking at pro quality, a lot of their returns are very close to that back line, which allows Elliott here to come in and actually forces Nick to hit the ball way back behind the baseline. So they can hit these shots time and time again. Nick hits this ball here as a drive. So Elliott is now in a strong position with Armand up at the net here. And then look at that flick, that first flick by Elliott, okay? So again, we talked about players love to lean in, especially when their opponents are actually hitting a drop. Again, here's a serve by Nick, the return by Elliott here. And as Nick is hitting a drop here, what is Elliott doing? He's actually leaning in, super wide stance. He has that weight loaded in that right leg so he can go for the flick, okay? And if you watch Grayson here, he just does a great job of what? Split stepping. You won't see this at really low levels because they either don't stop at all or they split step late. Grayson does a good job getting set, getting balance so that he can actually try to neutralize and hit it soft. So again, a good quality of high level players is they know when to hit soft, which we talked about. Now Elliott now again is trying to A, take time away, B, put pressure on their opponents again. He flicks it again. And what does Grayson do again? He gets low, he gets wide in that low stance here, and he tries to hit soft again. Okay, when you're on defense, that is not the time that you want to hit hard. You want to hit as soft as you can. And look what it does. It actually buys them time by hitting soft, by Grayson hitting soft here. Now as Nick comes in, he split steps as well, and he actually puts himself in a very good position to be super aggressive here. So a little bit of a hands battle here, boom, boom, and he kind of just gets caught there by Elliott's fast hands there. So really good stuff there. Again, there's that replay going for that chicken wing. All right, now we have Elliott to serve here. Again, big serve, quality returns. We just talked about how important that is. And a little miscommunication. So even the pros, right? They will not make perfect decisions every single time. And there might be some miscommunication from time to time. So again, on the serve and return, we just talked about that. Super deep serve, super great return. Armand decides to drive this ball. And then what does Grayson do? He counters it. He tries to keep him back. That's another high quality characteristic of high level players. They always try to keep their opponents back if they can. Great drop here by Elliott. And as they move forward, you can see what does Nick do? He creates a little bit of space and he drops his paddle tip down. If you kind of saw this and just took a picture of it, what would you think Nick is doing here? Hitting soft or hitting hard? Well, probably hitting soft because he didn't take a huge backswing. And this is the deception, or this is what high level players do when they have good paddle control, because they can hit soft, they can hit hard from that position, and he kind of just flicks it down the middle there And there's just a little bit of a miscommunication there, I think, by Arman and Elliot. So let's watch a couple more points here, see what we could see. Great serve. Again, good return by Grayson. And what are these high-level players looking for? They're always looking to apply pressure. They're always looking for something to attack, especially after the serve. So we see Arman here going for the serve. The return here is hit by Grayson, and anything a little bit shorter, so this returns on the shorter side, and Grayson and Nick are unwinding the stack. Anything short here, they're trying to apply pressure with pace. So why are they trying to do that? Well, you know, taking time away is the biggest thing that you can do as a player, because, you know, when players are rushed, they make more errors. So that was just a good ball there by Elliot. Great ball there. Okay. So we talked about trying to apply pressure at all times, trying to take time away. Here in this example here, you know, who is going to hit the ball earlier? Well, Elliot's coming over. He's being very, very big. He's being very, very scary, right? Imposing a lot of threat here at the kitchen line, but he fires it kind of right at Grayson, and Grayson just is always ready for the speed up, doesn't panic. Okay. Now I would say I don't mind this poach. It was from a little bit of a low position here by Elliot. But again, he's not going to hit perfect spots all the time. When you are attacking high-level players, you typically want to keep it away from the chest, which is kind of where this attack is. And Grayson is able to kind of just block it in the corner there. So here we go. Next point here. Okay, little miss drop. Again, when you see mistakes, even at high levels, typically it is kind of a routine mistake, right? We see a missed drop here by Nick here. Just kind of want to show you this again, right? A lot of the times it's not decision making, which at lower levels, decision making and where they move and their positioning, that's a lot of the errors. Pros will miss drops, miss shots from time to time, but that's just going to happen in games. Okay, here we go. Great return by Elliot. Tons of pressure. Okay, so too good, right? This got set up by the return, by the way. So for those of you who are currently not practicing the depth and the quality of your returns, this is a really good topspin return by Elliot here. It's almost hitting the back line. I mean, any return that is 3 feet from the baseline is forcing your opponent to come off the line and hit a drop from a tough position. And what does Arman and Elliot do? They reach in, what we talked about. They try to take time away early. So Elliot is applying pressure, taking time away, applying pressure with pace. Keeps Nick back. And Grayson, and what can they not do here? They can't come in, right? So they're forced to still play defensive balls. And now Elliot has a shoulder high ball that he is going to definitely put away here and use his power to his advantage there. Again, boom, just like that. So these high-level players, at the end of the day, what they do well is they apply pressure, take balls out of the air. They're very, very good in transition, in positions that they are very defensive. They know when to hit soft, and they really hit high quality serves and returns. There's a ton of things that you could learn from pro level matches. So hopefully next time when you watch a match, you can learn from them. Again, if you would like your own match play analyzed and you would like me to actually help you with your individual game, check out our Pickleball University or go to the pickleballuniversity.com or scan the QR code below, and we would love to help you with your game. There's a lot of players who want to improve and they have the drive to improve, but they just don't know what to work on. At the Pickleball University, We help you with that and help you navigate your weaknesses and exemplify your strengths. So if you're interested in personal coaching online, check it out. We'll see you in the next video.